Did you know that 72% of patients have put off going to the doctor just because scheduling an appointment was too hard?
Please hold for a very important message.
Yeah. 100% of providers say they're actively removing those barriers. So who's right? New data from 1,000 patients and providers says that both sides are living in completely different realities. And if you sell to health systems, that gap is your problem too. In this video, I'm going to break down Hyro's 2026 State of Patient Communications Report. And it's packed with data that'll reshape how you think about AI adoption, patient trust, and the messages your health system customers are sending, or think they're sending. We're going to cover three things: the access gap that's hiding in plain sight, why digital tools aren't solving the problem, and what patient trust actually requires before AI can scale. Let's get into it. 72% of patients have actively delayed getting care because it was just too difficult to make an appointment. Not because it was too expensive or because it was too far away. The process itself was the barrier. Half of them, 51%, gave up entirely because scheduling was too hard. And that's not a digital health problem, it's a systems failure. Providers know this is happening. 64% of providers openly admit that these navigation roadblocks occur frequently in every single provider that they surveyed. All 100% say that they consider reducing patient access barriers to be a top priority. So the intent is there, and so is the awareness, but the execution is broken. And less than half of patients, just 48%, feel like their provider has been proactive in helping them access care in the past 12 months. As I said, that's an execution gap, and it's also a perception gap that is wider than most health system leaders even realize. For health tech vendors, this matters because your buyers are sitting inside that 64% who know that the problem exists. The question is your product and your messaging connecting to the actual friction that patients are experiencing, or are you just adding another tool to an already broken system? I think there's an assumption here that may not be spoken, but I'm going to speak it. If patients are uncomfortable using your tech, more education or better UX will fix it. But the Hyro data blows that all up. Check this out. 86% of patients say they're perfectly comfortable using digital tools to manage their care. So that's not the problem. The problem is what happens when they actually try to use them. Patients use chat to find their bearings. 40% of chat volume is just people trying to figure out where to go, who to see, or how to use the portal itself. And when they actually need to get something done and they can't do it with the tool, they have to pick up the phone. That's where the frustration and the friction comes in. 31% of all voice traffic is patients trying to schedule a new appointment, and another 15% is just trying to reach the front desk. Think about that. Nearly half of these are just basic patient requests. That's a workflow issue with an AI opportunity sitting right on top of it, ready for the taking. The chatbot numbers tell the same story. Only 5% of patients actually want to use a legacy chatbot, but 51% are genuinely satisfied with voice AI agents. So we don't have a tech gap between patients and tools. It's between what health systems deploy and what actually resolves the patient's issue. This is a big trust issue, and it's also an adoption blocker. 97%, almost all providers, believe that their AI systems are built with the patient's best interest in mind. But only 69% of patients agree, and that's a 28-point trust gap, one that you can't automate your way past. The numbers get even sharper when you look at data security. 82% of patients still trust a human over AI to protect their health data, and only 19% trust AI more. What makes this commercially relevant is that 56% of healthcare providers say that patient skepticism is the #1 barrier to AI adoption. If your health system customers cannot close that trust gap with their patients, then they won't be scaling your product, period. There's a nuance in this data that says that 61% of clinicians are worried about AI making clinical decisions, and that concern is completely valid. Agentic AI shouldn't be diagnosing and treating patients, right? Its job is to navigate and resolve, route the patient, book the appointment, handle the prescription refill, hand it off to a human when complexity requires it. 69% of patients are comfortable with AI-driven scheduling. The trust issues aren't with the category of healthcare per se, it's with the use case. The vendors who help their health system customers understand what the AI can do and can't do are the ones that will move the adoption needle forward. For health tech vendors, this report, and I've only covered a little bit of it, should be like a mirror. If your product is sitting inside a health system that has broken scheduling workflows, legacy chatbots, and a 28-point trust gap between providers and patients, then your renewal conversation is going to be harder than it has to be. You have to help your customers close that gap with better tech, better education, and better communication. And a clear story about what the AI does what it doesn't do, and when a human steps in. If this video was useful, interesting, or shed some light for you, drop a comment and tell me. What's the biggest trust gap that you're navigating right now with your health system customers? Is it AI skepticism, workflow mismanagement, workflow misalignment, or something else entirely? And if you want to keep going on this topic, watch this video next about how AI doesn't remove work, it just adds more. Health tech leaders are pushing for AI that moves from prediction to action instead of just generating more data points for humans to process. And yes, I know what you're thinking. There's regulatory issues, liability concerns, and clinical judgment requirements. That's absolutely true. But that means you need to design your AI to handle those constraints up front, not dump them onto your already overwhelmed clinical users. And here's a bonus question that you should ask about liability. If the AI recommends something and you don't follow it, are you liable? If you do follow it and